after a visit to Ife and met with the Oni. Yorubas have postulated that all herds of the Obas of Benin from Eweka I or Oba Ovoramen were being buried at a purported place they cunningly coined as Orun Oba Ado. One could easily fault the authenticity of that place from the name. If the Yorubas have said all Obas of Benin herds were being buried from Oba Eweka I, and history easily reminds us that the word Ado, which is Edo, was introduced as our national identity by the 12th old chronological order Oba of Benin, Oba Eweka I. One could easily ask, what was the name of that place before Oba Eweka I became the Oba of Benin? Or was it a calculated move to project their supremacy ideas over Benin in the 20th century? In Benin history, it is well recorded where all our Obas were buried. All Obas of Benin from the time Oba Ewedo moved from Usama to Ogbe were all buried in Ogbe. Hence the parable Aigwoba Ogbe, meaning none other than the Oba of Benin has his final repose in Ogbe soil. The four Obas of the kingdom known not to have enjoyed these unique rights since the reign of Oba Ewedo are Ewai I. At his death, his instructions were carried out faithfully. His remains were taken out of Benin city to Esi village in Oha River Basin near the modern Siloko town. There Ewai the Great, Oba of Benin, was interred. Number 2, Ehen Buddha, Ewai's great-great-grandson, who died by drowning in the Lekki Lagoon, the river Agan, on his way to Lagos, a settlement founded by his father, Oba Orogboa, the only Selo king that the Edos ever had. Number 3, Ahenkpaye, deceived into exile to his native village of Igwosa in the Oriomon territories by the Benin city chiefs for his parsimony, his excessive stinginess. Number 4, Oba Ovoramen, who died in British exile in Calabar in January 1914 and who was officially buried there. Scientific proofs are usually more effectual than oral passage of history. Hence, details from scientific work are more authentic than other methods used in the passage of historical events. Frank Willett carried out an archaeological excavation on that so-called Orun-Oba Ado site, and it was found out that no human skeleton was buried there other than materials likened to hermits, which date back to about 8th to 9th century. Before then, the Benin's recorded their history in art, and this method was so effective that the Europeans attempted to destroy. They carted away these religious, spiritual, and historical pieces. The purported site where the Yorubas alleged was the final resting place of the Obas of Benin has since been discredited with more credible techniques of finding relics of historical past. The dating are quite far apart. Oba Eweka reigned in the 12th century and not in the 8th or 9th century. Umogwanga talk by it. Point number 3. A Kaladeran. People allegedly ascribe the invention of the word a Kaladeran to Oba Erediawa, of blessed memory, that he coined that word to discredit his Yoruba heritage. That thought is steeped in the abyss of the ignorance of such minds. Hence, an illumination of fact will help in bringing these people to an historical light. A Kaladeran first appeared in written word in 1903, an extra recording in the 1800s and published in the 1903. The extract states as such: Guatum, which they mistook for Ugoton, was the head center of the court Malaku, which is Olokun, the spirit big rivers, North Creek. Hence, it is easy to understand why it should be the town set aside for the entrance to Benin of the white to the big water. I used to be told in a vague way the tale of the foundation of Watum, a son of a king named Kaladeson, which Lingrot mispronounced because it's not a Benin, never to return to Benin. Great Benin, its customs, art, and horrors by Lingrot. 1903. Note, in the Old English language, that letter arrow was written as letter S. Hence, the spelling Kaladeson instead of Kaladeran. Arrow E. Bradbury recorded stories of a Kaladeran and Oduduwa in the 1950s in places like Okada. Other Benin fine minds like Chief Eli A. Amiwu did an article on Oduduwa and in Kaladeran in Nigerian magazine 1971. OSB Omorige and Eyare in the 1970s, while DN Owonsaye in the 1990s wrote about a Kaladeran, as well as other Benin historians. Osenige Ero before Obaredawa published his work in 2004. So it is completely misleading to conjure fallacies of a Kaladeran origin, as Benin strongly believed that a Kaladeran became Oduduwa, a ruler in Ife, a move that prompted Olia Awoma to lead other delegations of Benin chiefs to retrieve their heir apparent, the only surviving son of a Wodo. In the works of Professor Oyelawa Osuanlele, in chapter 3, the Benin Monarchy, an anthology of Benin history, he said, and I state, and I quote, "The cruise of the matter is that Oduduwa, the revered and heavenly progenitor of the Yoruba who descended from heaven to the Ora Hills or migrated from Mecca, is demystified as a Benin prince by this tradition. The problem with Ife history is that the origin of Oduduwa, according to Obayemi, is yet to be identified beyond the myth-historical plane. Apart from the claims of origin from heaven, Mecca, and probably from direction of Okiora or Ora Hill around Ife, recorded in the works of Johnson 1921, Oni Aderemi 1937, Obayemi 1992, and Akinjogwin 1993. None of the 16 Ife communities or villages that constitute the Ife kingdom claims him as their own. Consequently, the Kaladeran's association with Ife and his name changed to Oduduwa cannot be dismissed out of hand. This is because Benin people had an extensive interaction with Ife in the pre-Oduduwa period, as attested by the yet to be published Ikedu traditions of Ife. The Ikedu tradition, which is the oldest tradition of the Ife people, identifies the rulers of Ife as Ogene, a name which only the Benins and some Edo people used to address the king of Ife and God respectively. There are also words and names in the Ikedu tradition that are very close to Edo words, such as Orisanobu Ogene, which we call Osanobu Edo for God, Uko, emissary for Edo or for policeman, Owigo, Owagigo, for house where money is kept, Otu, Otuedo, group of age grade, Egele, Egeledo, largest and middle class, Oma, Omagedo, free citizen, Ekila, Ekiedo, trade fair, and so on, Akinjogbe 1993. One wonders how possible the oldest tradition of the Ife people recognizing an Edo word as the original word for the kings of Ife rather than their people recognizing an Edo word as the original word for the kings of Ife rather than their own language. Could it be that the founders of Ife, recognizing the rulership of Edo people over Ife, one can deduce that Oba of Benin is also regarded as Obiogene Nuhe, the son of the king of Ife, which infers that the throne of Ife has his origin in Benin. Oba Atokbe.
Yes, sir.
A puzzle in Benin-Ife relations, particularly in relation to a Kaladeran's transmutation to Oduduwa as claimed by Benin writers and Oba Erediawa, which scholars in the field have not considered over the years, is the observation of H.L. Ward Price, district officer and later resident of Oyo province, 1920s to 1930s, during the burial of the Oni Ademiluyi Ajagun of Ife in 1930. The observation was the body of the king is then washed with water from his private well. The two big toes are tied together with a thin metal chain specifically made for the purpose by a blacksmith. The hair of the head is shaved. Coral beads are placed around the neck. The skin is well rubbed with a kind of chalk found at Benin, some 200 miles away. This treatment, combined with the tight binding cloth round the body, serves to delay decomposition. Now, the distance traveled to obtain the chalk raises a fundamental question of why the Ife royalty choose to go far away Benin and not other nearby places in Yoruba land. Present-day Ife Dayo in Ife Central Local Government Area nearby Ikberinde in Ilesha, Iwaraja in Osun State, and various locations in Ondo State are well known to be rich in Efun or kaolin chalk. Given that the use of white kaolin chalk is not known as a funeral ritual ingredient among Yoruba and is widely used in funerals and particularly royal funerals in Benin, the collection of kaolin chalk from Benin and rubbing on the corpse of the Oni of Ife shows this custom was obviously borrowed from Benin and most probably through the agency of Prince Ekaladeran, who the Beninese claim is Oduduwa. The rubbing of the body which with chalk from Benin is either a symbolic burial in the natal soil or a ritual propitiation, which is also a Benin custom. These customs lend some credence to Benin's claim that Prince Ekaladeran is the same person as Oduduwa. Further evidence of this pre-Oromi and dynastic link between Benin and Uhe or Ife can be seen in some other rituals performed by the Onis of Ife that relate to Benin. The most recent Oni of Ife, Oba Okunade Sijuade Olubuse II, stated that the Oni must perform certain rituals with 7 black cows before he can travel to Benin, cited in the works of Senigero and Owe. This seeming confection was made shortly after Oni Sijuade came out from the compulsory seclusion during Olojo festival, where he confided in the journalist, which was published on Lagos Weekend newspaper, October 26, 1990. He clearly stated that the tradition was imposed by the ancestors or founders of Ife. One wonders who that founder was to have imposed such uncommon show of loyalty to the king of Benin. This rite seems suggestive of a revocation or cleansing of some oaths about Benin. Otherwise, why would he have to perform such rites when going to visit his presumed son, whom he had sent to rule over Benin? Oba Benin, being the most prominent king of the house of Ogiso, of which Oduduwa, a Kaladeran, is an extension of, has the highest authority to authenticate the ancestry of his forebear. in which Oni, who is not a family member of Oduduwa branch of the Ogisho house, but rather an adopted son that was given the privilege to temporarily hold forth the Oduduwa stool in the absence of the rightful owners. He does not possess the traditional right to speak on the matter that concerns Oduduwa. Oba Benin was given the sole right to propitiate the festival of Oduduwa, Ugiododua, a reminiscence of the indestructible spirit of Einidu, imbibed in the blood of a Kaladeran known as Oduduwa. Oba talk by it.
Yes, sir.
In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, Edo people are not interested in who originated from whom, or who is culturally superior to whom. We are concerned with the correct presentations of our history. We will continue to rewrite it to make right all errors and deliberate omissions that were masterminded by Yoruba historians. We are not concerned with or interested in rewriting the history of the Yoruba people. The Yorubas are free to believe whatever they want about the origin of their own race. For this reason, the statement they are now legendary known for, it is too late now to rewrite history, is nothing but an attempt to avoid the truth in this historical matter. Oba Benin is a pure-blooded Benin royalty that shares a long line of the blue bloods of Ogisho. He is a direct descendant of Ogisho Owede, a branch of the Ogishos that continued into the Oba dynasty. And inasmuch we don't have anything that we are dragging with the Yorubas, any attempt for them to force a wrong history on us will be vehemently rejected and pushed back at them. Nobody can compare the experts of the Oba of Benin in the Atlas of World History with a sit-at-home shrine keeper. We are very much aware of the coordinated conspiracy against the history of our land. We want to also sound a stern warning to all those involved in this selfish conspiracy. You'll be contending with resolute minds like us, and we will push you all back to the very abyss of intellectual disgrace. Gone are the days where the good Benin stood mute for the bad ones to shine. We are who we are, and we are Benins. Our ways are justifiable in the sacred potent of our conscience. We share long lines of warriors and winners. We are Oba's children. Great Benin shall be great again. Oba talk by
Yes, sir.